Howdy everyone, and welcome to the stream. Hope y'all doing alright. Today we're going to be working towards generating, stay on topic, we're going to be working towards generating a cave system. Now, if that's confusing, because I've said before, this is not a procedurally generated game, and it's not. What I'm going to be doing is using procedural generation to sort of help me do some things. For example, and also we'll take a look at what I've been doing. So as you can see, with these grass decorations here, it takes a really long time to place these decorations manually. I don't like doing it. So what I did was to create a way to automate this. So I can be like, boop, there's one there. And so I don't have to think about all these patterns. I can just do this procedurally. Sort of the same idea that we're wanting to do with a cave system is I don't want to have to sit there and map out the caves. I want to be able to like plop stuff down and build a cave system that way. And so that's what we're going to be working on today. Bits of map tweaks and stuff like that to sort of get that going, because as of right now, it wouldn't really accept it. Not the way I want it to. And like for one, with this chunk loading system, this is going to be great for the overworld, but it's not everything needs to have a chunk loading system. So we'll probably look at ways of tweaking that. Now, plus I wouldn't how to do it with do the cave generation with the chunk loading system. So we'll have to figure all that stuff out. Howdy, Johnny Goss Dev. Welcome to the stream, bud. And everyone else is here. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on. Oh, and as you can see, I've been doing some stuff with the level generator. For one, like right here, I can just go here and make a new map and start building from here. And so we'll have like different areas that you can transition into. Like I want to have one large overworld, but you can imagine we'd have like cave systems and dungeons and all that fun stuff. So this is going to consider all of that. Morning, hope you're feeling better. I'm feeling much better, Scooter. Thank you. So for anyone that doesn't know, I've been ill for the past 2 weeks, like pretty badly. But I'm feeling much better today. I'm still sore. The throat is still a bit sore, but we'll get there. Generator's looking good. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy about the grass thing, actually, because it was one of the things I really hated doing about world building was all the grass generation stuff, and I think that looks pretty good. It's using cellular automata with a weight system for the flowers and stuff. So the flowers have like a 1 in 12 chance to spawn. You know, all that procedural stuff without all the generation. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Corona, it's Corona symptoms. I went and got tested, but the test came back negative. But like, it's respiratory stuff that got me done. God, you've been missing strength. Yeah, we are back. But yeah, like my lungs were inflamed and it was hard to breathe and all that fun stuff. But the test came back negative, so I don't know. Seasonal allergies? No, not seasonal allergies. This was pretty bad. I am a very tough guy, and this pretty much took me out. I'm the type of person that'll work through just about anything. This one was difficult. Have you thought about going into the AAA industry? Not really. It's not really something I'm interested in. I'd rather do the whole indie thing if possible, for as long as I can. I mean, maybe one day I could look at it, but I don't know. I'm more of an indie type of person. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is look at this map thing. So, do you find chatting and coding hard? It's going to be very difficult. This is why I tend to do the drawing for the streams, is because it's easier to draw and chat. Coding in chat is very difficult. So, what we'll need is the level. So, hopefully y'all will bear with me here. I used to do this before I did the drawing streams. I used to do the the coding streams. Yeah, it was difficult. What do you think about BMIs, brain machine interfaces? I don't know what that is. Procedurally generated caves. The caves will be procedurally generated for us to use. In the game, the final game, they will not be percentage. But like, we're not going to generate them at runtime. We're going to generate them while we build cave. Like, so I'm basically gonna be like, generate a cave, and then I'm gonna go in and decorate it. That kind of thing. Normally I wouldn't bother with such a thing, but I think if we can do this, it would feel more natural. And I already have the cellular automata stuff going with the grass decorations. Semi-procedural caves in, yes, pretty much. What I'm thinking of is probably just plopping it down. Yeah. So we'll have to look here. Now we have a map manager. Let me look here. The way this works. Oh, and another cool thing I've done. It's sort of like this hot swapping feature where I can hit R and throw my character into this world. And I can go back to building. You know. Boop boop. Then I could be like Shift R, I think. No. Something like that. Maybe it's R click. Nah, whatever. But yeah, this is good for testing, so I can, you know, test all this stuff and then go back to building. I can't keep up with the streams. Let's see. I mean, if you want, I meant to ask you, do you want to be a moderator, Kevin, for the streams? It's up to you, bud. Which is better, apple or banana? I like both of them, to be honest. I don't have a favorite. Oh, let's see. Oh, right. So, we have this map manager. Map manager is what loads the chunks, I think. Let's take a look at this. So we want to sort of bypass this. We want some worlds to be chunk loaded, some worlds not to be. Waffles or pancakes? Pancakes. How important would you say creating dev tools are for game dev? Depends. You can probably find tools for most other things. I mean, you know, it helps make your own tools. Like I have Tile Buddy here, which I use to generate tile set textures with. What happened today? Well, nothing's happened yet. We're sitting here thinking about how we're going to get around this. Now, we'll probably have to store what kind of map it is. Now, with these chunks, I would like to be able to load them at once too. I don't know. So let's see. I'm just refreshing myself in the code. It's been a while since I've looked at this chunk loading code. And I think, I mean, this is like this, the map manager, I think is the one that loads it. But we have, now there is a, okay. That's what sets the chunk. And that does it procedurally, like every turn. Wherever we get the camera's screen center, that tells us what chunk to load. There's supposed to be a process method for actually handling the chunk loading, though. Now, where did I put that? Did I put it here? No. This is funny because I just looked at this too. Oh, no, wait, it's level data. That's right. Okay, so level data is what holds our tile maps and stuff. So as you can see here, we have a process with the chunk queue. And then it goes through and it loads any chunks that have the enigma loaded, and then unloads any that needs to be unloaded. Okay. Now, is there a load chunk, generate chunk? What happens? I'm currently making an Among Us clone for my friends to play. Should I call it? No, neither of those. Self-documenting code for the win. No, I need to be adding comments. I'm a very big on comments, but no, I've been slacking here lately. But now I believe in adding plenty of them. And I know what the code is. It's just remembering where the stuff is at. Like all this stuff's, you know, pretty. Well, then I don't know. What we're looking for though. So I found the chunk loading thing. I'm trying to think of how I want to approach this in such a way that we can tell it like, I think we have to do it when we load it. What happens when we load the map? Let's go to game. Game is where we have everything starts. That's the root of everything. Oops, not you. And so we can say here, this is where we load our stuff. So we load a level. Oops. And then we have to worry about swapping. This is where all that hot swapping stuff kind of happens. To where, I guess that's for changing levels. I don't think I've done any changing levels with this system, so that's not guaranteed to work. That's for the editor swapping, and we just remove it. We'll keep a reference to it, but we don't queue it free. We just swap it back and forth. Now the level, however, does. Like you can't jump back into the level. It's deleted, of which might be what that's for. And then it makes a new one, and then there's the map name here. The map name determines what file it loads for the file system. Do you have any thoughts on pricing for the game yet? It's going to be probably about $20, I would imagine. So here, there's the map load data. I think this is where we need to be at right here. So does that happen? I imagine that happens here. Yes, in the actual. Each one calls this because we have a level. This is the level is what you play in. The level editor is what you build in, or what I build in. And they both call this method, which is what loads it from the map path. Map path should be defined in here. That's where the map world data is saved, and then we add in the world name here. Okay, and see, as you can see, we use that string formatting to put that in there, and that's what finds our thing. Good. All right, so when we call this and loaded chunks, and this, okay, this unloads the chunks. Let's go ahead and start uncommenting stuff. So unload loaded chunks from previous map. This is the now I think so far I've only ever called this whenever we're loading in a new map, so that shouldn't be any. So we'll need to confirm that that works. Howdy Cornflake, howdy Rick. Both popped in at the same time, huh? Hippie hoppity coded logic is now my property. Well, I mean, part of the point of these coding streams is to sort of go over the process for my coding, or for how I do coding stuff. And then once we unload all these chunks, we just make sure that everything's zeroed out. So that's what that is. Okay. And then we get the name by doing a fancy bit of work here. We open that up. We should probably put this inside of us. Well, we already have it in the method here, but whatever. And then we open the map data. Okay, and then what I'm doing is I'm storing everything in a dictionary like I did in my dictionary video. Not dictionary video, but my file saving video. Pretty much what I did there, and I get the variable. And then if it's not a dictionary, then we just generate a whole new one. And this is what we're going to want to do. We're probably going to want a variable. No, I don't think this one will matter, because I think it'll matter how we, because all this does is load in the data. I still want to save it in chunks, I think, in case I ever want to flip back and forth. But what I want with these cave systems and stuff like that, like I just want to generate all the caves. They're not going to be real big probably, but I want the option to be able to just be like, you're not chunk loaded, you're just load everything. And I think we don't need to do that on the save level. Everything should still be saved the same. The thing that will matter is how it saves per chunk. So we'll have to take a look at that. Howdy Game Endeavor, good to see you stream again. Well, thank you, bud. Yeah, the mess never stop what you're doing. You truly make my day better. Well, glad to hear it, bud. Thank you for popping out the stream. Let's see. So I think our change is not going to be here. I think it's going to be, let's take a look at here. This is how we set the chunk, and this is what determines what gets set and unset, like what chunks get loaded and unloaded. And this should be handled in the map manager. So yeah, down here. Okay. Now, so what this does, it does all the logic for handling the chunk loading stuff. I do need to comment this more. I forget what that's for. I do know I commented out. I think that might have been for like a devlog thing. Okay. So what I'm thinking, let's go map manager. We'll have a variable that is chunk loaded. No. Is using chunk system. Terrible name, but we get the idea. And we're probably going to... Now this needs to be per mapped on it. So we probably will need to save it. Right now we're going to be able to toggle it per, like, just in this variable. So we'll do it like a to do per map. We just need to make sure that we can get the system working properly. Now the idea being here is instead of every process we're setting the chunk and then undoing all that chunk loading and stuff, we're going to skip that if we're not using that. Probably going to set this as its own variable or function. So update current chunk. Sure. We'll call this here. The idea being here that we only call this if we're using the chunk system. So like if we were to cancel this out, it shouldn't load the map. Right. Okay. So instead of calling that, we could just call a method to load everything. We'll see how that works. So if is using chunk system, then we'll call that method. If not, then probably in the ready method. We want to just load everything. Yay, I made it. Well, welcome to the stream, Drake. Okay. Right. So we probably want to do this in the map manager here. Do we? Because I think that only does the chunk loading thing. I think we can just say, well, we're also going to need to look at how we're pulling this in data in. Because we have map data. And I think that gets loaded in when we do here. The thing I'm concerned about here is if we just load in everything, I think it's just a rendering thing. Because I think we have all the map data holds all the information, and then we just tell the level data, which is sort of like a render. It renders the level, basically. And it doesn't know anything. We just tell it, hey, you load this information. We do it here with chunk data. And if it's null, then we don't do it anything. So what I'm thinking here is we can have a method to just load map, and we pass in the world data, and then we just iterate through all the chunks. AGMS data mess, not much more, Boro. I'm just refamiliarizing myself with some code that I haven't touched in probably a couple months. Oops. Oh. So yeah. So instead of a load chunk and unload chunk, we'll just have a load map, I think. All right. Just go to the end. All right, function load map. Now this will be world data. More like scene data, I think. And this will be probably a dictionary. Nope. All right. And for level, we have it should be map manager, actually. Map data. Map data is what we need to pass in. If Finally, I can watch. I keep missing the streams. Welcome to the stream, Stardust. All right. Now, I think that's all we have right now is the chunk data. I need to document what's going to be in this map data, because in future purposes, this will be confusing. So, we should be able to say level data dot load map. Did I say map data? Hope you're feeling better? A little better. Good enough to get back to work and do some videos and stuff. Level data, right. Let's call this map data. Load map, map data. All right. Now let's take a look at the load chunk stuff. Because we're basically going to be mimicking that, but per thing. In fact, we can probably just call the chunk for everything. I bet. I wasn't able to join the stream from the beginning. Okay, wait. Can you run it and show us what you worked on? Here in a second. Rewinding a bit as possible. That is true. I'm going to make you a mod hacker. If you don't want to be mod, you can tell me later. I didn't see your answer from what I asked before. Hopefully I don't accidentally make the wrong person. There you go. Ew. If anything, it'd probably be Rick that I accidentally made the moderator. I could trust Rick. Okay, so I'm thinking we could probably just call the load chunk method per every chunk that we have. Let's see. Love this beautiful man. You talking about me? I can't imagine why you would. Event signal chunk loading, generate chunk. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so what I'm going to do. Pretty sure we can just say for chunk, and we're going to test something. Map data dot chunks. Which wants to print chunk. See what that says. And so for the level itself, we have the load map, map data. That should be fine. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, that gives us the data. All right, let's see what that happened. What that does. What type of lighting system are you going to have for your cave? I'm probably just going to use the shader system that I built. There's a few more experimentations I want to do with it, but did that not call? Wait, no, hold on. We're going to set that to false, so we use this. Are the caves going to be a type of dungeon? Probably. It's not that. What is this? Okay, so that would be the chunk coordinates. Good. So the cave, I'm thinking, still, everything's up in the air with here. I haven't decided exactly how all this is going to work, but I'm thinking the caves will be something like Skyrim, to where like you'll go out exploring, maybe you'll find this, castle ruins, maybe you'll find a cave or whatever. So caves will be a thing that you can just hop into, clear out some stuff, because this is like an open world-ish game. So imagine like Legend of Zelda, you're going through the overworld, whatever, and you spot a cave, maybe there's loot in there, that kind of thing. That's what we're going for. So for chunk in map data chunks will give us the chunk coordinates. So what I'm thinking instead, can I say, what if I say map data chunk? I think that will give me the actual information itself. Not crash the game, not crash my game. Okay. Alright, so what I'm instead going to do is go for I, and I feel like this is really a bad way to do this, but that's what we're going to do. And we'll say, oops, var chunk data equals map data chunks. Wait, yeah. No. The size might work. and then values I. And I think this will be like the tile map data stuff. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's what we need to pass into load data. Now, just to be sure, if I do this as it is and hit R, it's going to give us a blank world. Just double checking that. And then if I'd say load chunk, we're going to get the chunk chords as well. Map data chunks dot keys, I believe. And so if I say chunk chords, chunk data, that should load it correctly. Let's see what it does. Oops. There we go. Okay, so now this is bypassing the chunk system. Everything is loading in at once, which, you know, I like having the option for, because it depends on, like, I haven't decided exactly how I want to do a world system. But yeah, good to have that as an option for like the caves and stuff at least, because I don't see a point in having this big fancy chunk loading system for, you know, a teeny tiny little cave. It's not against, you know, not a thing we can't have, but, you know, options. I like options. There's a clock. There is a clock. I mean, I don't know how of importance it'll do later on. I put it in there for the lighting system video, and I just haven't taken it down. The animated flowers, that's much love, and well, thank you. Not too keen on their animation, but, you know, yeah, it does add a little bit of a simple way to add a little bit of animation to the world. Right. So that bypasses that. Now, the reason I want that is because, well, we still have to look at the chunk loading saving system. We want to make sure it saves correctly. So if I say, where would it be? Probably a level editor. Or save map data here. Didn't notice the flowers were animated? Yeah, they don't do a whole lot. I had a big discussion with it. I don't remember who it was exactly. I remember Lucy was there. We talked about how the flowers, oops. Howdy, Morris. Save as JSON. Yeah, it's already as a JSON file. There's two ways I could animate the flowers. I went with little bobbing up and down, and it kind of looks like they're singing. I don't want, you know, the other option was to move everything up and down, and it had a weird look to it as well. So I haven't decided exactly how I want to do that. What do the enemies do if a chunk is unloaded when they are on it? As of right now, the chunk doesn't unload entities. In the game, once it's fully implemented, the enemy will be unloaded as well, and they'll be saved, probably, maybe. I haven't decided yet. But as of right now, anything that's, which is you can even see this in the video where I introduced the chunk loading system, where I reduced the radius to really small. You'll notice that the trees and stuff stay loaded, and that's because it's not fully implemented yet. But I do when we get to that point. How do you keep your motivation up, not down? I don't know what you mean. Excited to work on the game. It's hard not to be motivated. So I'd say pick a project you really enjoy. Let's see. Devlogs are a really good thing for me to keep me motivated to keep working. Because I've got social pressure to make sure I actually do this properly. Well, not properly, but actually put it out. Okay. Right, so save map data. The thing here we need to be looking for is how the data is being stored and how we're saving it. And we need to make sure that we, when we make the cave system, that it respects that, so that when we save, it gets saved as chunks. because I'm not gonna do two separate saving systems. So even if we're not using the chunk system rendering wise, I still want to save the chunk system. I need to go. Honestly, can't wait to see the game progress. Good luck and thank you, Evil Morty. How are you going to make it look cave-like? We're not going to be getting into visuals today. We're just looking at the actual generation itself. But as for visuals, it's probably going to have like a dirt ground, cave-like graphics, darker interior. We'll use that lighting system that we made. Maybe throw in some lights and stuff, that kind of thing. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this, but what do y'all think of this, the new cliff texture right here? Pretty happy with that. Because the way I had it, I had the... This might be using the old ones. There was two... I don't like the old ones. And so we're probably going to be replacing it with this sort of more cartoony style. I really like this. But yeah, back to looking at this. We just want to make sure that whenever we save the data, it respects the chunk thing. And I'm thinking it will. Because if I'm not mistaken, it will reach out to the level data and then get the tiles that are being in the chunk right now. Like using a bit of math and stuff. Alright, so... Oh, whatever. If it don't, then it's not the end of the world, because I'm not saving the map right now. We just wanted to get the rendering done. Okay. So right quick, let me look at the brush thing. I think we're just setting the cells directly. By the way, I went and made these little brush actions here, which handle the adding the tiles and stuff. So if we look at here, we have a level editor. Set cell. I think I did that for the undo system I tried to do, but it's not fully implemented. So we'll take a look at that. And it just calls the level data. And there's the undo history here, which, like I said, it's not fully implemented. Now this is, I think, the one we need. Set this up. And then it just says the tile map. Okay, cool. So whenever we're brushing in with the level editor, it's just setting the tile map. So we can just do this with the cave generation. And also, something I started working on was tools here, caves here. Well, it's not connected up yet, so that's what we're going to do now. So if we look at the level editor UI here, we have this guy, tools menu. So this is this controls the pop-up menu. There. And whenever we press this, as you can see, it says the printout generate caves. This is where I left off doing this. It'll print that out here. So this here is what we're going to be connecting our cave generation into. What I think I'm going to do here is emit a signal. Yes. So we have level editor actions, generation. And the idea being here is that I can have these generation stuff here. And then we'll call this method to do our cave generation. Small community? Yeah, you know. We get by. How'd you learn all this stuff? Big fan, by the way. 10 years of programming, or more so now. I started programming closer to 11 or 12. But yeah, lots of programming. And then, but a lot of this stuff has been here recent. Like, I took to learning game design, watching game design videos and stuff like that. Will the level editor make scenes or make JSONs to load? The level editor, it paints to a tile map, and then when we save, it takes in that tile map data and puts it out. Yeah. Oh, Godot's community. Yeah, okay, yeah. Godot's community is growing really quickly. When I first started using it 2 years ago, it was just picking up, and now it's pretty big. It's one of the it's pretty widely used in game development, like game jams and stuff like that. I think they did some surveys and stuff, and it usually scores pretty good in people who use the Godot engine. Okay, so generate. Right, so this guy. So whenever we click on that one thing we had open, let's pull it back up. Tools menu, yes. What we want to do is we want to say constant cave generator. We want to preload. Do we have? We want to make a new folder. Generations. You started using Godot like a month ago? Yeah. I remember that. How are you finding it? Like, I picked it up pretty good when I first started using it. I was pretty happy. Like, I enjoyed it. Okay, so we're going to give this a class name. Yeah, so that we can find it easier when we create the resource here. And then the resource we're going to preload. And then whenever we emit our signal, I haven't connected it, but I have a waiting thing for it. We just pass it in through the signal, and then it can call the generate method. And then from that point, we can start doing our log generation stuff. We'll do a little test thingy to fill out some random stuff, just to sort of make sure it works. So first time live viewer here, welcome to the stream, bud. We are working on cave generation. We're cooking everything up so that we can generate the cave. We're just about to start that there, though. So, this guy. How does the load data distinguish itself from being a cave chunk and a normal chunk? Right now it's not. It doesn't know anything of that. It only stores the tile map data so far. Once I get to that point, here, I'll be like scene data, and it might keep stuff like, is it an interior? What is the lightness level? Because if you remember with my lighting system, we've got stuff like a dark color, how dark it is, that kind of thing, global light levels, all that fun stuff. We can use that and to sort of manipulate when we do all that stuff here. We haven't got to that point yet, but that's what we'll be doing, is we'll be storing some data into here and probably have some prefabs, like maybe an enumerator or a JSON or whatever that sort of has that data. We can just say, yeah, I'm part of this guy, so we don't have to keep doing it again, if that makes sense. But maybe have some customization options as well. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Okay. Where am I at? Oh, right. Tool menu. Tool menu. Constant cave generator. Preload, and then we want to generate the cave resource. All right, so whenever we emit that a signal, let me find out which one it is again. We should just be able to pass that in, I would imagine. Could have sworn I had level editor. Maybe not. Maybe I'll have to make the signal for it. Could have sworn I'd made something though. Let's look at our ready. Yeah, I know it's tool requested or something like that. Okay. How to learn pixel art for non-artist programmer. HP, that will be coming soon. I have something planned for that. It's actually before I fell ill in the past couple weeks. That was going to be the video that I was going to do, just because like I didn't really like I was learning music theory. I didn't really have anything else to do, so I was like, I'll just make a pixel art video, and then yeah. So I would expect that probably, and Rick has a video on how to do pixel art as a non artist, I think. Yeah, so that's just it. Answer that quickly, for specifically. But I have a video on like how my tips for learning really anything, but specifically pixel art. And there's a link to the book in the fact. There you go. And that book is one of the things that really helped me learn. Like it's what pixel art clicked for me. Like I was trying it for a while, watching videos and stuff, and I had a really hard time with it because you've got all these professional people offering these professional tips, and you get sort of really overwhelmed. And that book sort of, I don't know, it put it in a, it's still a lot of tips, and it can still be overwhelming, but for something about the book, put it in perspective for me that it was easier to understand. Show how it looks like now. What are we talking about? Oh, we don't have any cave generation yet. We're still hooking everything up to get ready for that, which we're about to do here. We just need a signal from our tools menu. Nope. Something like that. Pixelogic book is very cool. I got it. Yeah, it's an amazing book. Oh, thanks for yeah. Anytime, Rick. It was a great video you did. Let's see. Okay, so whenever we press this, we're going to we have the cave generator here. So we'll just say emit signal. Tool requested. Cave generator. Okay, and then we need to connect it. This guy, which we'll do here. Now this whole purpose is sort of like a relay. Like this doesn't do anything. It's easier for us to connect at the level editor through here. So we're just going to re-emit the signal. Not file menu, tool menu. Do we have that? Okay. There we go. Tool menu connect. Requested. I don't have a better name for that, but whatever. Like I said, we're just re-emitting the signal here. Probably, be nice if there was a better way to do this, but a cleaner way, but it'd be all right. There. And this is just for organizational purposes. So in the level editor up here, we can say UI.connect. Requested. This is where we're going to process the tool. We're just going to be doing a simple. This is going to feel really silly, and honestly, I'm going to be a little silly with it because it's just going to call this method. And I feel like there's a better way to do this, but I'm not concerned. I just want to get this done. I'll copy this. Tool resource. Because all we're going to do here is we're going to say tool resource dot generate self. It's very silly, but you know, I'm not going to complain about it. Oh, let's see. After checking out how the game looks for the stream has history enabled. You just give like a way to give a parameter by reference. Yeah. How much time have you spent on this project? I'm guessing 100 plus hours. I wouldn't know. I need to keep track, but 100 hours, probably more. I don't know. Is that a helmet? I have no idea what you're talking about. So, to make sure that this works, we have our cave generator here. Let's go. I work. Oh. That's a lot of work to get to that point, and it works good. All right, so now we have the level data here, and then in here is where we're going to do all our stuff. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say level data, like clear. I'm going to make a clear method for the level data. And this, I don't think we have one here already. We do. Okay, so what that does is goes through all the timeouts and clears it out. All right. No, we don't want to do that in the... Yeah, it would be all right. I don't need that for anything. So if we click here, it'll clear it out. Cool. And then, this is where we can do our thing. Let's close all the tabs here. Okay. So this is where we want to actually do the cave generation itself. Now I already have a cellular automata set up. So I can say for cell map equals generate. And it's going to need this information. And the way this works is it has size, which is how big of a map to do. Do you have a cave tile set done? I do not. Do not have a cave tile set done. I'm not too concerned about it either right now. The only reason I'm doing this cave thing is because I think the theme for this devlog is going to be procedural generation, like creating a world with procedural generation, but not procedurally generating a world. The cave may or may not even be in the demo, so like we're just doing stuff right here, setting up. I mean, it's setting up some generation stuff that I can use later, but it's the cave part itself is not important, at least not right now. But we're just having a bit of fun on the stream. Now, if I do have time, I would like to throw in like a mushroom cave to do the whole mushroom sub story that we've been talking about. But size is I need to do this as a vector too, because now that it's not just grass generation, I could have wider than I do tall. But size is, if you don't know what a cellular automata is, let me do this. We'll demonstrate. So let's say size is 64. Spawn chance 0.5. Death limit. Do I have I have steps, which I skipped. Steps is how many iterations to do. We're going to do a 0, which is just going to be random. And we'll just, these other ones shouldn't matter. And then count walls. We'll call that true. And I'll explain that one in a second as well. And so if I then say 4, now x map, the cell map, it'll return an array. So if I say 4x in cell map dot size, and for y in cell map dot x dot size, I'll probably say ground. For ground equals level data dot tile maps dot ground. And grass, I have a thing here on the ground. If I pop open here, I have a script on my tile set. It has tiles here, and tiles goes through and it gets every name and stores the data for it. So I should be able to say here, var grass equals ground, which is a tile map, ground dot tile set dot tiles dot grass. Should be right. Then if I say if cell map, it's an array of Boolean values based on the cell data that's been done. So if cell map x, y, then ground dot set cell x, y, grass. No, wait, hold on. Why is that errored? Okay, that's good. Yo, what's up, my dude? Not much. Hey, we hit 100 viewers with a coding stream, no less, which is impressive. Ooh, we hit an error. What for? No tile map on level. Oh, whoops. Tile maps. Okay. So as you can see here, it generated a level editor. We're going to open up the level editor right here, and we're going to say it's doing, if you remember, if you've been a part of here for a while, we did the whole setting the chunk thing on the level. If we open up a level, we added this bit. You bypass the thing, we need to do it for the level editor as well. Otherwise, it's going to update the chunk, the current chunk, which we don't want, because I think we're forcing it to not use the system. Generated a QR code. Hee, there you go. I mean, it's pretty much like a visual representation of some binary variables. So there you go. So that's the first step of cellular automata, is to generate a bunch of random values. And then if you go, and you add in a step here. Let's see, I think. Size step, spawn chance. And that spawn chance determines like how often that generation. Conway's Game of Life. That is what this is, Techno Hacker. So that's the initialization of the cell. And then we have a birth limit here, or death limit, which is how many neighbors it needs to have to stay alive, and birth limit is how many neighbors it needs to have to be born. And if we give it a step, we start to see some patterns come out of it. Let's give it 5 steps. And this is iterations through the game of life. You get these cells, so you got to tweak these values a bit. Surprised these values don't work a little better. Dude, where are you from? From North Carolina. So death limit C. Let's raise that up. These values are very sensitive. I don't know if this is the correct way that Game of Life is done. Surprised it's not doing it differently. Eastern NC. Getting some weird results for this. But as you see, the sort of cave system starting to build here. Let's go here. I need to set up a thing here to actually do this in real time, so it'll be easier to tweak. Getting some weird results. But that's what the grass is doing. Like, if we take a look at the grass spawner here, it's using a size of 5 spawn chance, steps 3. Okay, so if we mimic that, we say size of 5, steps 3, 0.5, 3 and 5. Wait, did I say 5 steps? Okay. So 5 steps, 3 Okay, 3 and 5, I think it was, yeah. 3 and 5. If we run this, oh, and we don't count the walls. Then that's what I'm using to generate the grass, because it makes these little clumps. Wonder what happens if we did that. Make it bigger. So let's do the 64. But you know, what is the most complicated game in Godot? I wouldn't know. Okay. What if we do more iterations? Do you work on this game only during streams? No. Coding wise, this is one of the first like real coding streams I've done. Usually I just do art, and even then, like, it's usually design and stuff. But yeah, as you can see, this is going to take a lot of tweaking to get how we want it exactly. And the way this works is it goes through, it generates that random cell that we showed earlier. So if we set this to 0, oh, do you use Python? No, you use Godot. So it creates this thing, and then it iterates through all of these, and it counts how many neighbors it has. And if it has, let's say if the cell is true, it's considered to be alive. If it's false, it's considered to be dead. If it has more than 3, if it is alive and it has more than 3 neighbors, I think it kills it. Let's look at that here. So if it's alive and it has less than the death limit, then it, let's see, false. If it has less neighbors than the limit that we set, then it kills it. And then if it's dead and it has more than the birth limit that we set, then it brings it back to life. And what you get is the higher this number, I think the more often it kills it off. No, it's more like keeps it alive. So you get bigger chunks. So let's go for 6. And then the other one, the lower the value, the more likely it is to be brought back. So let's say 5 steps. So as you can see, we didn't get anything here, which is interesting. What I'm thinking, though, for the cave system, I don't want to just generate everything randomly here. What I'm thinking is probably do it like I did the grass system, to where I can place little cave rooms. But we're just filling here right now, to sort of see where this goes. Are you setting the state immediately after checking conditions? You need to cache the next state for the whole grid before changing any of them. No, you're talking about the, so no, I'm going to cache, here, got a new map, and I take the old map, duplicate it, and I perform all the checks and sets on the old map, and then it returns the new map. Well, then, yeah, so all that, it's separate, if that's what you're asking. The thing works as far as I know. I mean, granted, this is the first time I'm testing it on a big scale like this, so it could just be fault in the logic somewhere. But it worked fine for the grass. But this is not the results that I would have expected. It looks funky in areas. I was wondering if you created a really cool in-game map editor, but have you considered using something like wave function collapse algorithm to generate a full part of your map? I have wanting to look into that. I've never used it before, the wave collapse thing. GDScript shared a video recently that's really made, like, put it in perspective. I had difficulty understanding it. I had been searching for it, and the best I could find was this like talk on it, where we talked for about an hour, and they didn't really explain how it worked. They just explained what it does, and so I never really could understand it. I've not found a lot of resources on it, but there's GDScript shared that video, and I want to take a look at it. I don't want to get too bogged down by that, though, because like procedural generation can take a while, and that's something I would do for fun. Like, I don't want to spend too much time doing procedural generation when it takes time to do it, and I could just easily be building a cave system right now, but you know, just we're having fun. It's literal quantum mechanics. There you go. Are you going to create more pets because they look very good? Yes, there will be plenty. Well, I don't know about plenty. Well, I don't know how many I'm going to have, but yeah, there will be more pets. We have, I think we have an entire list that I have to implement. Squirrel pet is best pet. Why are you pro squirrel all of a sudden? That's really weird. I thought you hated squirrels. GD Quest, yes, GD Quest. My bad. Did I say GD Script? Yeah, GD Quest shared a video. It's not their video, I don't think, but they shared a video recently, and I think I shared it in my Discord and the useful resources. Let me find it right quick. But yeah, it talked about it, and that's what, for me. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. You know, it still didn't go into the nitty gritty of how it's done, but how you would go about it makes more sense to me. So I want to take a look at it, but I don't want to spend too much time on that kind of thing because when once I get back to doing weekly videos, you have to move really quick. Like I only have like 3 days of working on the game before I need to be writing my script and cutting audio, or not cutting video and all that fun stuff. So I have to move at a pretty fast pace. I don't really have time to sit around playing around with stuff. Although I do want to do some more off-topic stuff. Like not every week is going to be a devlog because the way I want to do it is sort of have times that I work and show off the game and everything, but also devlogs that they don't generate a big audience, and so I want to sort of get eyes on the project. So I'm thinking of doing some more videos aimed at growing the audience, and then having the devlogs keep them here. Interesting, this popped up in my recommended while I'm also working on procedural generation with Bombsville. There you go. It's pretty much finished, actually. There you go. A snake would be cool. Oh, a snake would be interesting. And everyone is trying to generate everything for sometimes no reason. Oh, you're talking about the wave collapse thing? Yeah. Thank you for doing this. You've helped me make my game a great amount. There you go. Glad that could be of help. Yeah. So looking at this feels like I've probably screwed up something in my algorithm. But it's a very simple algorithm. I don't know why it's acting screwy. 1 hour late? No. It's only been an hour. Jeez. It feels longer. How's it going today? It's going all right. Not too bad. How are you doing? Fire and lightning. But yeah, that's not how I expected that to look. I don't know why. Could be my count's off, maybe. Or what to see. Maybe that increases the birth chance or whatever. I seem to have found one blog post about the algorithm. I'll share the link of her on Discord. I'm having a read through it myself. Nice. I would appreciate any resources you find. Because I have looked, and it's difficult to find decent stuff on it. Anyhow. One thing I need to do then. I'm just playing around with shapes. I want this to be able to generate decent shapes. If it's, okay. The lower this number, I think the greater the chance to spawn in new stuff. There we go. That's more like what I was expecting. Okay. Let's go back to counting this. And this variable here determines whether or not it counts the edge as a neighbor. And the thing about that is it'll, in theory, snap to the wall better. Like you'll get these enclosed areas, is what I'm hoping. Those are nice caves. Well, thank you. They're just getting started. We still got to tweak these values a bit. Play around with them. Even 11-year-olds watch your videos? I didn't know that. I can't imagine why. Like, they're pretty... I get into... I'm not too scared to get into like the technical stuff. I can imagine that would be entertaining for a 10-year-old. But, to each their own. Let's see, what did I lower that? I did the... I think that's the rate that kills it off. And you can also lower the percentage chance. These values are very touchy. I feel like there's got to be a different way to do it, but whatever. Let's raise. Let's lower that. What I'm looking for here is a good ratio that could be good for plopping a cave down. Like having on my, like if you'll notice when I do the grass planting here, like, you know, have a good shape, and I specifically look for that kind of shape formation or whatever. And so that's what I'm looking for here, is something I can put in like a brush, like a large cave shape, and then I can connect them manually myself, maybe. Although, yeah, like, why are you watching this? I don't know. Why are you watching this for? Godot 4 is still heavy in development, so using it for major projects is discouraged at the moment. Yeah, probably. I went and built Godot 4 last week, and it crashes my game. So I don't know if that's something that'll be fixed in time, or something I'm gonna have to fix. Well, probably a lot of stuff I'm gonna have to fix. I imagine a lot of things will change, especially the way they're doing twins, by the looks of it. That's gonna break a lot of my stuff because I use a lot of twins. Love me some twins. All right. 4x4 wasn't too bad. And I'm thinking if we reduce the size, it'll change the way this works. But that gives us some decent looking shapes. So let's reduce this down a good bit. Let's try 16. GDScript's getting a significant overhaul too. What's it getting overhauled? What I need to do. Actually, I can do this. I don't know why I'm not. I should be able to just click that here. Click it again. Oops. Just sort of get an idea of what is happening here. I believe it's having a first class function now instead of a string-based function passing. Right. That's one of the big things that's changing for like signals and stuff like that too, right? Now, there's probably different ways to make blobs. It's something else I'm going to look into at some point. There's probably, I imagine there's probably a whole thing for making blobs. That would be amazing. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it's done. What does that mean? So as I understand it, so like say here, we say, let's look at the level data here. Like level data, level editor. So like say here, I say UI connect, new map requested, or whatever. I think it'd be something more like UI.connect, UI.new map requested, and then that kind of thing. Instead of using strings, it's sort of like that. And I think the upside for that is things like replacing maybe. Not a big one is auto completion. I think like you'd be able to, strings and auto completion is not that good. Maybe the recent Godot like kind of made it weird as well though. So I'm also a little biased. But whatever. Type checking will be much better. Yes, that's correct as well. And error checking would improve. Yes. All right. So let's get going again here. What I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. Let's bring this down. Just to take a look. Because the caves, something like that maybe. Now, what I want here is I have this here, this decorator thing. I think I want to move that into a generator script or buttons here. And so I could have like generate grass, generate caves, and then the caves follow the brush. Maybe. Tell you what, let's make a bigger map. One thing I can do is generate this cave. Oops, you're supposed to plop down there. If I save, no, still no. Interesting. I would have expected that to work better. I had a problem because of that in one of my projects where I misspelled a function in an RPC call. Yeah, I can imagine that would be a hassle. And that would change with stuff like tweens too, wouldn't it? Maybe? I don't know. Anyhow, let's make this bigger. Because we went through all this trouble, I don't want to just do this on a brush. I can do that later. Let's look at ways we can generate caves on a bigger thing here. And we'll probably take a look at the Seller Automata code just to make sure it functions properly. Because I remember when I had this for my a previous game project, I used the same kind of logic, but it functioned better. Like something feels a little off with this. So I don't think my logic's flawed though. It looked fine. So let's take a quick look. So it takes the new map. I wonder if that's not duplicating properly, maybe. Because that would throw it off. If it's writing the old map and then for some reason like the references are still the same, that could throw it off. Okay, hold on. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to test that theory. We'll say var new map. Hold on. I should just be able to new map. And then it iterates through and changes all that. Okay. So let's do this. Var equals. This is not what this thing is for, but we can repurpose it. And we can say old map dot size 0 because we don't need it to be anything. It's going to be an empty one. There. See what that does. How much will your game cost when completed? Also, which platforms will it be available on? I'm thinking about $20 price, and I'm Windows, Mac, and Linux most likely. All the major platforms. Still looks the same, so it's probably not that. I think I noticed a hiccup there as well. So we'll bring it back. Okay. All computer platforms, yes. Now I do, yeah. Like I ain't gonna do mobile. Switch would be nice. I'm making the game as if like it could go to consoles as well. Some not the level editor, but like all this stuff should be. It's got controller support, which I haven't used in a while, so it might be broken. I have to check that out. Console would be cool. Yeah, I'd like to do consoles. Now consoles with Godot is it's weird, but. I've been looking at that. It would be nice. Let's bring this down. For some reason, that's just touchier than I remember. Because I remember, I don't think I finished the sentence. When I had this in my previous game, I could tweak those values and I could get some really interesting stuff. And it seems like that's the only value that's working, and it's not giving me what I want. So, whatever. But we'll take a look. But yeah, let's look at the logic again. So it duplicates the new map. It iterates through the old map. It counts the neighbors. That's something we could test, making sure it's counting properly. Which code language do you use? Do you use Python? I use GDScript. It better be Linux support, or the Linuxers will be mad. I ain't worried about Linuxers. Take it easy, Techno Hacker. Oh, Kevin. Let's see. You don't scare me, Abby. So let's see. Cell equals origin, so origin cell is. Right. Okay. Okay, so if. I can't see the issue with it. I can't see why that would be an issue. Oh, I wonder if, no, that wouldn't mess with it. I don't know. What is this? Oh. So why not use Perlin noise? They could. Perlin noise don't really give cave shapes, though. Maybe it's the iteration steps. Let's lower the steps. Now, I think once you do it, it sort of settles into a shape. I don't think the steps matter as much. And like I said, like, we just need a starting point. Because, like, me, when it comes to me making things, I get irritated having to think patterns and randomization too much. So I try to avoid it as much as I can. But if I can get a base point, like, consider this, for example. Like, I could come in here with a pen and start closing off areas and expanding areas. I just need a starting point to sort of get me going. Perlin noise can be generated by chunks. I don't know what you mean there. And the stream got his first dislike. That'd be alright. I'm surprised it took that long, to be honest. It might have been the Linux comment. Oh, if you don't know, excuse me, I'm about to make a whole bunch of noise. We have a bunch of Linux users in our Discord. They've formed a whole coalition. How good does anyone dislike that? I don't know. It's a thing you come to expect when you do YouTube. It don't bother you when you get used to it. Satan. Oof. Perlin noise takes any XY value and returns a value. Yeah, we'll have open simplex noise, but yeah. I don't see it generating cave shapes, though. It does do blob stuff, though. Blob is really what I'm interested in, because like I said, well, I don't know. I wouldn't mind actually having a starting point like this. He saw my comment. What did that take it back? Let's see. Interestingly enough, like the studio back panel, whatever, that shows me, like, it doesn't show me the dislikes. Like, it'll show me the concurrent viewers and the likes and all that fun stuff, but it doesn't show me the dislikes. I guess YouTube doesn't want to hurt my feelings. Because I can't see it at all on this page. I'd have to go to the actual page itself. It's weird, that. Hey, you still going? Yeah, had to leave. Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, we're still going. We got the cave thing going. It's just trying to find a good settings that I like. And I need to do a better way of generating this. Like, actually, I wonder if I could just cheat this a little bit. Let's do this. Let's go tools. No, we ain't gonna do that. It won't matter that much unless we change the settings. See, the lowering that made it where you keep more. See, that's the thing with this, is that it's so touchy. If you change it ever so slightly, then it... Oh, one thing we could do, actually, is to reduce this, alter the spawn chance. But see, it's so touchy. Why are you so touchy? Oh, hold on. What if I increase the steps? Usually when you increase the steps on this, it sort of smooths it out a bit, I think, if I'm not mistaken. No, apparently not. I am mistaken. Tell you what, let's go back to 4. Scroll halfway down. I don't know. I scrolled all of them. That's a little better. Not too bad. Let's do a whole bunch of steps. Just to see what happens. And then we can, like I said, we can alter the spawn chance, which I think matters less. Okay, this is looking a little better. This is looking a little better. I think we just didn't have enough steps going. Okay. Because see, the general idea would be like to get us a starting point like this right here. Then we can remove what we don't want and just sort of have a good branch. Well, not a branch, but a good way to go. How do you change tile sets in code? I have tried and never succeeded. Tile sets, you just set the tile set. I'm actually doing that. I have here a thing that creates the preview. The preview. So if I go and click on this decor here, I get this preview tile map. It's not the actual tile map, it's just something I create on the fly. And all you do is say tile set. And I'm using it, I'm setting the tile set of the tile map that gets passed in. But the if you want to use it from a file, you would want to save it. So if you go to your level data here, you go to your tile map, tile set, and you can save your tile sets or whatever. And then you would load that in. What's your game called? Zoe and the Cursed Dreamer. Howdy, Benjamin King. Welcome to the stream. You just need a starting point, like you said. Yeah. Just need a starting point. Let's see. Because, like I said, yes, we're not using full generation. We just need... where to go? Right. So, let's tweak this a little bit. This is the percentage chance for when a cell gets set. So what happens if we lower that? Where can you get it at? Nowhere right now. We're still really early on in development. The demo, I'm expecting to have the demo out March next year. I was out for a couple weeks, so I have to do a lot of catch up to get to that point. But yeah, we're going to push for it. So if we lowered that, well, let's play with it. Let's play with it. You never learn. Oh, oops. That was not what I wanted to do. There. Okay. I just started using Godot and just did it in a stream. And I'm like, oh, how's all that done? Your work is great. Well, thank you. Yeah, this is a lot of work. I have been doing this for several months. So, you know. What platforms? The platforms will be your major computer ones. I'm building it so that it can be on consoles and stuff, but the major ones guaranteed. It's like your Linux, your Mac, and your Windows. Did we try that? Got a little distracted with my workspace getting thrown out of whack. Let's see, this one. Okay, it's a little different, What if we lower? Let's lower this. I think this is how many that's needed to resurrect a new one. Let's try this. Is it an RPG game? It is correct. Correct. The idea of the game is to sort of Oh, that's an interesting shape. It's weird. There you go. Never mind. Just in the title. Yeah, it's an RPG. It's sort of like it'll be heavily inspired by things like Legend of Zelda, but also like your old RPGs like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. Sort of a mix of those. Because my favorite games growing up with your RPGs like Final Fantasy, Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, all that good stuff. Star Ocean. But I didn't like the turn combat as much. I mean, I did, but it's not as exciting as like a Zelda style combat. So my idea with this one is to sort of combine that. And with Zelda, I liked it, but wow, that's doing some weird stuff. But I didn't, I missed the RPG stuff. Yeah, it's a devlog you can watch and see what it's about, and there you go. Apparently, I'm terrible at marketing my own stuff. That's to rely on other people to do it for me. And I lost my values. Which one was I using? Might have been 3. It seems like caves generate more cave-like when the last 2 constraints are close to equal. It seems like it. I mean, well, I think it's because they have to be they're at that specific point. I don't remember it being so touchy though. That's the thing. It's weird. I forgot that I had those good settings, and I started playing around because I started getting interesting shapes, and I sort of lost it. Behold me, Space Turtle. Welcome to the stream, bud. I just wish they wasn't so touchy. I don't remember them being so touchy. Can you say a bit more about the combat system? How's it going to be like? The combat system is what's mostly inspired by Zelda games. We can show it off here in a second. Actually, I sort of nuked everything accidentally. let's pop up for the let's see. Let's go open up the game. I'm just scrolling off right now anyhow. Might as well look at the game. See if I'm loading the debug. Let's get rid of that. That one looked good. It looked not too bad. Not too bad. There. So the way this works is you'll have like different weapons. So like right now I'm using the mage's weapon, and so the mage has like it has a wand. You can notice up here that's like adrenaline or whatever, and the purpose is like you'll attack these stuff to build up your adrenaline, and then allow you to cast magic and stuff. Yeah. Apparently I got rid of all those other enemies, but like you have different. Like an RPG, you'll have different weapon types. So, for example, if I go to the player, you have like a rogue here, which will specialize in sort of your sword and your bow. Especially your bow, you'll get like a like your fancy, like that's a piercing weapon. And I'm out of adrenaline. But you've got like different abilities that go with that as well. And then you've got the warrior, which specializes in sword combat, or not just sword combat. We'll have like different stuff like maybe spears, hammers, just melee weapons, and he'll have more up and close sort of combat abilities, like that slam there, which looked weird for some reason. There's a slam there. A dash was the first one. There's a slam that sort of does an AoE stun at damage, that kind of thing. And so the thing about the combat is, though, it's not meant to be a very difficult game. One of the things, my main goals with this game is I don't want it to be just like balls to the walls action, like high intensity type thing. It's very much inspired by Zelda in the fact that you just sort of chill out, go fight stuff. I'm not trying to kill you every time you turn around a corner. I want you to enjoy the game and sort of explore. Exploration is the big part of the game. The combat is just to entertain you along the way. Most of the tutorials you made are platformer games, and I don't think you have an RPG tutorial. I was going to do an RPG tutorial, but decided to make a game instead, and so here we are. Yeah. So back to what we were doing though. So yeah, very RPG inspired combat. But the name of the game is exploration. Making things difficult is too much used by game indie devs. Make more playtime, but it can be just wall for us. Yeah, I'm when I play a game, I don't care so much about like just really difficult, excruciating difficulty. I just enjoy like exploration is a big thing for my games. So I enjoy games where I can just find things, meet characters, story and stuff like that. So that's sort of my main goal with this game. Is enjoyable, well, not enjoyable. I mean, it depends on who you are, I reckon. Some people don't enjoy the, well, I imagine a lot of people enjoy that extreme difficulty, but it's not something that I enjoy. Okay. Oh, what would this last one look like? Old Drake said it looked good. I think it was alright, but it wasn't very cave-like. It was very, very open. It's actually not too bad. It's a good starting point. Now I need to look at some other procedural type of stuff to sort of, it's probably about some layering kind of thing we can do. Because right now it's very noisy. There's not very any interesting patterns. But like I said, I don't need it to be. I just needed to give a good starting point for me to do my own stuff. Do you mean I won't need to be maxed out on everything and be lucky to beat the boss? There you go. You won't need all that sound fire. It's not going to be an extremely difficult. Now, I will probably have difficulty levels settings. Although, what I like about difficulty, I don't like just to bump up difficulty and increases damage or whatever. I like for there to be a mechanical change. So it probably could be like a difficulty and have like introduce new mechanics with higher difficulties. We'll have to see. It would be nice, but that would be extra work for me for a thing that most people probably won't experience. So you have to be careful of that kind of thing. I think that would probably be too much. I think if we found out that if we lower that, then it reduces the chance of oh, that's interesting. It's more than I expected. What if... Oh, it might be because we tweaked this a little bit. Let's tweak that a little further down. Will there be crafting and collecting materials like mining? I don't know yet. I don't... Oh, I could see some interesting stuff coming from here. I don't want to make it so that you have to collect a bunch of materials. I kind of want to streamline that. And I don't think there will be like a crafting traditional type of crafting thing. I do like games where you can craft your equipment. Like maybe you can craft your weapons, maybe like an enchanting system or anything like that. But I don't see me doing like make planks to make, gather sticks and wood and rope and coal to make torches kind of crafting system, if that makes sense. Not like a survival type crafting system, but I could certainly see there being like we have the cheese crafting we talked about, which is going to work like a potion system, and the enchanting system, which I think would be nice to have. But I don't want inventory management to be a hassle. What are we doing right now? We are looking at this cave generation thing, sort of trying to generate some ideas about how we want things to look. I wish I could... I don't know why I'm not hot swapping into this correctly. Because what I want to do is be able to walk around it and sort of get a sense of scale. So let's look at the why that's not working. Yeah, nothing can beat that. Making caves. Wait. Nothing can beat the cheese system. There you go. I do think it'll be interesting, especially if we do it in an interesting way, like the ingredients that go into it, kind of thing. I need to do more research. I would actually, by the time I make the game proper, I'll probably be making my own cheese because it's something I would like to look into, like how to make your own cheese. And so maybe I'll learn some stuff from that. I think that would be cool. Because like I said, I'm expecting to work on this for about 3 years. I've got time to learn how to make cheese. Okay, so whenever we switch modes, wait, we don't do it here, we don't do it there. We do it, should be the input. Unhandled input, function is release switch mode, switch mode. So, and then we do this, it toggles the mode based on the state. So I'm using this like a mini state machine here to manage whether we're level editing or we're playing. And if we're entering the play mode, which is what we want to look at, the level editor saves the data, and then we load the level at the editor map name. Something tells me that that's not getting loaded correctly. Okay. Let's take a look. So if we generate the caves, hit R. Okay, we'll step into that method. We have a map name of overworld. Is that what we're using? Okay. Better load that. Interesting. But which is the best of these engines for beginners, Godot or Unity? For beginners, I would personally say Godot. It just depends on who you are, though. If you have any experience in Unity, then or with C#, then you shouldn't have too much issue with Unity. I personally had difficulty getting comfortable with it, but that was just me. When I picked up Godot, it only took me like a day, and I understood it completely. Like I got it. Like I got the gist of what it was doing. With Unity, versus Godot will pre-do a lot of things for you. Like you can do a lot of the stuff yourself. That's the nice thing about Godot is you can do as much as you want, but they do a lot for you. Like the collision movement for characters and stuff like that. Like they handle that if you want to use it. Whereas Unity, in my experience, you had to build all that stuff yourself. So like to make a platformer, you had to do all that collision checking and stuff. Whereas Godot, you could just say, move this character downwards and to the right, you know? So, do you have any tips for keeping motivation to create games? Not really, because my thing was to make devlogs, but that's not easy. Making devlogs is what keeps me going. The light to make your games and make that's actually a good thing. If you're very, very new to game making, start really small. Like make Pong, you know, finish your really small games. Like, because it takes longer to make a game than you would expect. Like this game right here is essentially just it's Zelda with RPG, and I'm expecting it to take me 3 years. Like it don't like when you look at the game itself. You know, I've already been working on it about 4 months probably. Like there's not a lot to it, but it takes a long time to do anything major. I mean, a very basic platformer would take you months, you know. So start really small. Game jams are good for that. 100 minutes ago, I missed a minute. Not really. We just connected the cave system. There you go. Bold. What's bold? Let's see, load level. No, switch mode. Yeah, load level. How long does the stream go? Usually I stream for about 2 hours. 2 to 3, depends. This one we've sort of hit a wall. We got up to the cave generation, and I'm not really sure what I want to do. So we're just, we'll probably. Are you feeling better from this? I am feeling better. Chest still, tightens up a little bit, but it's overall feeling better. Good enough to be back to work. I wasn't able to stream for what? I had to take about 2 or 3 weeks off. But yeah, we're doing good now. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Let's see. So choose a level 3 if we got it. Level editor. Map name, add child. I don't know why it's not loading properly though. Now when we load the overworld, right? Oh wait. No, that wouldn't be it. I got you better. Yeah, me too. Loading the thing. I don't know why it's not loading properly. If I say level here, it should be loading the overworld, I would think. No, not this one. Not you. Actually, you shouldn't be loading either. What are you loading for? Okay. Maybe I did the wrong thing. Okay, now we want to look at the map name. Map name should be... No, come on now. There. Overworld. Okay. How do you not... The level editor, whenever we save, unless I'm using a different world level. Oh, hold on, I better know why. Am I exporting that? No. Weird, it's weird. I don't know. But alright, we'll skip it. I'll have to look at that later. Because I would it's confusing. It was... There's a disconnect somewhere between the level editor itself. Like... Unless... But... What if I... start at play? Damn it. I'll have to look at that later. My hot swap thing ain't working because I genuinely do not know why. I think I'm gonna end it here though. We got case somewhat. Not as much as I want to do, but I don't know. This game's been weird. It's a little irritating. What I'm gonna look into, there's different ways to do the caves, because I don't like this so much. Maybe I'll look into... Wave collapse function will be interesting. Maybe I'll take a look at that. Not this. Although we could get a start here. Because the idea here is that I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to be like... In fact, I'll just be like, get rid of all this. We'll sort of clean it up, go in through later. I don't have my pen on me, but I usually do these with a drawing pen. Because as you can see here, like, I don't have to do, like, all the thinking. I just say, like, there's a cave right there. And get rid of all this stuff. I'll probably need to make, like, a flood fill for this. Yo! Howdy, Kamari. Welcome to the stream. I have to go now. Hopefully I can come get back later. Well, like I said, I'm just about to end it. But thanks for coming to the stream. So yeah, we'll have this. Oh, we need to I need to make like a lot of things I need. Oh man, game development takes forever. It's the trouble with the coding streams too. Like, you can spend a long time coding and not get anything done. You're welcome. Thank you. I need to make a cave texture as well. It's gonna be difficult because I'm wanting to keep the cartoony style like I did with what I really like this, the way this looks. Really happy with this. I'm gonna do a bigger cliff because these are using like mini cliffs, and these for anybody that's just now seeing these, like fear of coding. How soup? Let's see. Is to make. Okay. These are sort. They're going to act sort of like these bushes here. This is sort of like a different variety. Because if you've seen the Devilog so far, like I've only ever used these bushes, which I'm going to redo because I don't like how they look. But yeah, the idea being here, like they sort of go hand in hand, sort of break up some of the environment. Commitment to focus and slowly learn right away. There you go. Besides, I can. It's hard skill and need time. It takes a long time to program, like to learn how to program and stuff. It's my third day now. I'm working on something that I was supposed to take like 1 day for my game. Third day for what? Like learning to program or just working on a game? When you first start learning out, it takes a really long time because a lot of issues like not knowing what to learn. Like, just the fact that not getting into the flow. But once you get used to it, you learn a lot quicker. It becomes a lot easier to learn new things. So just stick in there, you know. Howdy, everyone. We're about to say goodbye, though. Oh. But yeah. That's where I'm going to end it. I'm going to... probably here in a little bit. Well, I need to start working on a script, but I need to make cave textures and everything. So I'm probably gonna do that here soon. Oh, we just got here. Sorry, Eric. Can you show the scene tree for your level world? I don't know what you mean. You looked at the code for your first game and discussed it with it. That's the thing with me. Like, I can look at code I made half a year ago and I'll be disgusted with it. You wanted to see like this? I mean, none of this is final. It's just, nothing really fancy to it. That's why dev schools aren't useless. There you go. That's probably a good thing. Like, when I started out, I was self-taught for years. Turn this back up. And so, like, I didn't get a lot done because I was teaching myself stuff, and I probably would have learned quicker not by myself. So I would have played with using GameMaker 2's physics system instead of my own. It's a little strange to use. I haven't used GameMaker in so long that I don't know what that system would be. I think I watched one of Heartbeat's video. Maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. And I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I love Godot's movement system, though. It's so nice. I made a thing here recently that uses the movement system. This guy. And it uses, it's a wall crawler, and it only uses the movement system, and it uses that to get collision information, get the normal, like all of this is handled via the movement system. It's a very powerful thing once you know how, like, all the cool stuff you can do with it. I love Godot's movement system. And 5 years into development with about 4 years in school, and yes, it does give you a lot. Nice, good to know. Because I had like, I think I'm about 11 or 12 years in development. And I had about 4 years by myself, and I wasn't that good for those first 4 years. And then, but by the time I got to school, I had that, like, they didn't really, I didn't go to the game development school that I went to for programming, and I had to learn pretty much everything that they was going to teach me. That's a super cool wall crawler. Well, thank you. I'm pretty happy with it. When I first, I've done wall crawlers a few times throughout my development experience, and I hated doing them. they're such a pain in the rear end. And this one is actually like really really easy. Even like after I made it, I was like, I'm a little upset that I don't do tutorials anymore, because like I could make a tutorial on this. It's like 20 lines of code. It's not bad at all. But that's it for now. I am going to call it, and we'll also be using this in we'll probably be using this in the game itself. I could imagine some wall crawler type enemies. It's not, this is a gravity thing, so like they're actually like, it's meant for a platform, but you can imagine this for like like, in like the Zelda games where you've got the little fireball that crawls along the walls. We could do something like that with this same logic. But yeah, y'all take it easy. Appreciate you coming by the stream.